Hello and welcome to another episode of Beer Man's Noble Beer Reviews. Today I have another beer from Brew Brewing Company out of Braddock, North Carolina. For those of you who have seen my other reviews of Brew beers, you'll notice something different about this one. This is not in a growler or howler or crowler. This is in a can. After being open for 6 years, they finally packaged something in a can, something that they have been waiting to do for a long time. This is their flagship beer, General Braddock's IPA. Basically, the reason I hadn't done a review for this yet is because this is their flagship. They have it every single time you go there. Which doesn't mean that it's boring, it just means I usually get the things that I'm not sure if they're going to make again to do reviews for because I don't want to miss out on them. So I end up skipping General Braddock's because I know that they're always going to have it. Well, now that they have cans, I wanted to see how they held up in the can, and I just like the idea that, I can drink one of these nice slim 12-ounce cans. So this is a New England style. I mean, they don't call it New England style IPA. It just says soft and balanced American IPA, but it is hazy. You'll see that 6.8 ABV. If there's any beer from Pittsburgh, other than maybe Iron City or like Icy Light, because I might have drank a lot of it like in college. I don't even think I drank it that much in college. But other than that, maybe if any beer from Pittsburgh I don't think there's any beer from Pittsburgh that I drank more of than this. So I was so excited to see that they finally packaged it. They released it about a week before I went up there for a week vacation. So luckily, people grabbed me some, but they still had cans of it because they're not kegging, so they have a ton to go in the can. So I think that's all I'm going to say about it. I know that was a long preface, so I'm going to crack it open and see what we got here. And this is one, well, obviously I've had this beer before about what I said, but I have had it out of the can already. Probably, I've already gone through like 2 4-packs of this when I was in Pittsburgh. Just because they get on like water and they were readily available, but I wanted to do a proper review for it as well. So it does look a little darker and I said this before, it looks a little darker on the photo. For whatever reason, this camera looks darker than it. The lighting really is in this room. I got to check it out. But it pours a little darker golden color, slightly darker than pineapple juice. Pretty hazy, pretty cloudy, with about a finger's worth, a really nice fluffy head. That's one thing that I always say about Brew Gentleman beers is they're especially with growlers, because it's even harder with those to get carbonation perfect whenever if something's lasting a couple weeks in growler, but they always nail it. Oh my gosh, that smells so good. Honestly, I think this smells better than any of the ones that I even drank up there, which is kind of crazy. Oh, tons of pineapple, but really like bright, fresh pineapple, not like that over-ripened, like almost like slightly rotting pineapple, not like that. There is a little bit like a green dankiness, but it's something I don't know what's in this. I don't think they've ever told me. I've asked. I've tried to get some information in there, but they're very secretive about it, which I understand because I think it's like the best IPA I've ever had, or definitely in my top 5. Definitely the best like flagship IPA that's made all the time. But I'm getting something that's I would think is Simcoe. All I know about the hops is it's like a newer school hop, like a bridge hop, which I would consider Simcoe like one of those bridge hops and like an old school hop. So I don't know. My guess would be something like Centennial, Simcoe, and Citra, which is my favorite hop combination, and I think that's why I like this so much. But like I said, it has that little bit of dankness, but it's also the big pineapple. There is some like grassy character and orange clippings. grass clippings and orangey character, but it's definitely more like pithy and rindy than like orange juice. And there's some like bready, crackery notes in there too, but it's pretty minimal. It's all pretty much hops. Man, that's good. So the thing that I like about most of their IPAs, but this beer especially, is it's very very layered. You get so it starts out with like this bitter green, slight dank character, then has a nice bright peach and pineapple tropical flavor, and then it finishes like very like citrusy bitter orange peel, and then like a nice just when you think it's almost too bitter, there's like a really nice sweet bready aspect that balances the whole thing. That's why I love this beer so much. Is it's simple but incredibly complex at the same time. The bitterness and the sweetness are balanced perfectly, but it's definitely not one of those sweet New England IPAs. It is fairly bitter, but it's just got enough sweetness to balance it out. It has none of that like green, like weeds in a blender flavor. I mean, the only thing I would say is different than this can than when I remembered having it on tap other times is this is like a little more bitter and like grapefruity and pithy and slightly less of that like peach pineapple tropical character. But I like both as long as they're balanced well, which it both versions are balanced really well. This one just leans a little bit slightly more West Coasty. Um, but I mean everything else about it is not West Coasty. The other thing is I would say it's not quite as soft, but that might just be a product of them, them charging the cans with a CO2 gun versus it being like filling up something that's already carbonated in the keg. It could have to do with that. It might have to do with this batch. I really don't know. This is still softer than most hazy IPAs, but it's not quite as soft as some of their like super soft stuff that I think a lot of their IPAs have better mouthfeel than any other IPA I've ever had. And there is something about this too that's kind of sorry, my phone's going off. I don't want to reject it because the person will be mad, but I don't want to answer it either. But now that I'm thinking about this, I don't even know if it's Centennial. I'm thinking the old school hop, and this is probably Amarillo because there is something very slight about it that is like a little. I say aspiriny because that's what I like in Amarillo too, but I don't know anyone else who says that. So I would just say it's an Amarillo flavor. That's all I'll say because I don't want to. Don't want to say aspiriny because that'll be a turnoff to people. But it's just if you know what Amarillo tastes like, I get a little bit of that too. But overall, if I'm just comparing this to like the tons of times I've had this on tap, I don't know that it's like I would say if the tap version is 100, this is like a 98. So it's not quite there. This also might have more staying power because I do like that bitterness. But it's not quite as soft or juicy. But either way, is a fantastic IPA. It's probably one of the best IPAs that you can get regularly that isn't like a one-off. Not that that really matters, but of all the ones that I know, like M43 was probably like my favorite one that you could get all the time, at least hazy ones. If you're taking out like Headhunter and that type of thing. But this beats M43 for me. I probably like it a little bit better in general, but the biggest reason is the price. So then I didn't even get to that yet. Not only is this an amazing beer, a 4-pack of this was $10. Yeah, I understand that it's only a 12-ounce can, but even when you scale that up, you take a third of $10. That's $3.33, because a third gets you to 16 ounces. That's still $13.33, and that's including tax. That's including tax as well. What really good IPA 16-ounce 4-packs can you get for less than $14? There's none. Not that I know of, at least not where I can get locally, and definitely not. If it's not locally, it doesn't matter because I'd have to ship it, and that would obviously be more money. So, not only is this a great beer in general that I highly recommend anyone seeking out and trying, the cost of it is awesome. You can get 8 cans for $20. Get someone to put it in one of those flat rate shipping things, for another, I don't even know. You could get 8 cans of this for under $30 with shipping, which is just an absolute steal in my opinion. So, of course, for everything that I've said, this is for sure a buy for me. I'm going, every time I go to Pittsburgh, I'm definitely going to get at least a couple 4-packs of this just to have and drink back here. I'm going to obviously I don't ever recommend saving IPAs, but I'm just curious how long this is going to hold up in the can. So I'm going to, probably only drink one of these a week and just see when it starts to go downhill. And as soon as I notice it's starting to go downhill, I'll just drink the rest of them because I don't want it to get any worse. But I just want to know what the shelf life is. I will say this was canned on May 31st, and so they don't have a canning date. They have a Best Buy date, but I know that these came out on the 31st, and this is the first run, and this says 7/31. I'm okay with the Best Buy date if you're giving it a legitimate one, and to me, 2 months is a legitimate Best Buy date for a hazy IPA. I could see some breweries maybe even going 3 months, but I think 2 months is a legitimate one, so that's fine with me. And today is June 18th, I think. 18th or 19th. So really, we're getting, this is so this is 3 weeks old. I was thinking it was older than that, but my math is awful. So this is 3 weeks old. So this is definitely in the stride of where it should be. But I want to see what it's like at that 2-month mark and see if it really does get to that time and then go even further. So, anyways, that's all I got on this one. Another great beer from Brew Gentlemen. Please like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think, and I look forward to doing the next one. Thanks.